Hey troops, it's Roy from the Geeks Adventures. Woohoo! Broadcasting from the Clintonville section of Columbus, Ohio. So, not even 2 weeks ago, Stranger Things dropped season 3. Woo! I jumped on the bandwagon kind of slow. Sorry. Lots of other stuff going on. Hey. But even if even if I did not know of never actively watch the show until I binged watched it over the last like 10 days, it was the presence of Stranger Things was massive. It was just one of those shows. The term Zeitgeist gets used a lot, I imagine, at this point. But the ripples it created were massive. There's so many people getting into it. The fact that the show just grabbed people on so many levels is a testament to what they created. So what's the point of this one? Just a chance to babble a little bit about stuff, the show, the last 3 seasons, yada yada yada. Spoiler shield. Which, considering the way things ended in season 3, major spoiler shield. So, okay, right now, everybody, all right, you in the back trying to get a strawberry icy, and people have seen season 3 are going, too soon, man. Are we good? All right. You in the back who was texting on the cell phone. Spoiler shield, right? Are we good? Okay, all bets are off. See ya. So, the interesting about the show, and actually, even now watching it, you talk about tropes and stuff. One of the most fun things to watch right now, especially after so many years of seeing TV, film, and yada yada yada, and so many different things coming out. X-Files, Supernatural, Twilight Zone, Star Wars, Star Trek, yeah, blah 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 blah. It's fun to see how shows now, they draw on so many things, and you try so hard to put everything in the Yahtzee cup and shake and pray that when you throw things down, it's like, yay, cool, as opposed to people going, oh, how cute, you did this and this and this, so heart charming and boring and lame. In Stranger Things, at its best, is that way. There's so many things it's drawing upon and bringing it together in so many neat ways. You've got the obvious things like the Spielbergian stories with kids, like you have an E.T., or in some films like The Goonies, the obvious nod to Spielberg and H.P. Lovecraft, other dimensionally things, giant monsters, blah! Other dimensions. But the fun thing for me is also seeing some of the other interesting influences they drew upon, like John Hughes. You're looking at at a series that's based upon a whole bunch of teenagers and a couple adults who have a clue to actually know what the heck's going on. It's fun to see how they took a cue from John Hughes, where it's not just generic teenagers. The level of depth and emotional power and the beauty in the characters they created is wonderful to see. The best things, they're obvious as things like 11 and yada yada yada. The most fun thing to watch is Steve the Hare Harrington, because he easily could just be the jock guy, but as he gets drawn in with the insanity, which is what's happening in this town in Indiana, it's kind of funny how there are moments where he's the most adult person around. And it speaks of the character, too, that, how the character grew and transformed. How, at first he basically is just, the alpha dog, hot-looking guy in high school. And he transforms by season 3. It's a lot of fun to watch. And the other obvious thing that they're drawing upon, Joss Whedon, and the fact that no characters are safe. Remember, spoiler shield, all right? And I mean, not just villains. I mean, seeing Matthew Modine's Dr. Brennan get eaten, or did he get eaten, or did Eleven make his head go? I forget which. But when he ate it in season 1, yeah, cool. And then season 2 and 3 have been like heartbreaking. I mean, you see what happened to Bob, and it's interesting because I mean, you want to talk about a trope. I mean, yeah, when Bob looks like he's about to escape the lab and everything's fine, and in the back of your head you're going, no, he's not gonna make it. It's gonna suck because Bob was cool. And actually, I mean, you again in season 3 when Alexia, and the funny thing is that you don't get to see Alexia a whole lot. But actually, it is a very Whedon-esque moment where you take a character who really, he's a Russian scientist. That's all he is, and yet in these precious moments, you get to see him and you get attached to him. And that moment when he gets killed at the county fair, you're sobbing, and it's like, it's an interesting statement on what they've created as the shows move forward for all these characters. Let's see. Also, the other fun thing about the show is, I mean, you've got, okay, granted, Winona Harper and oh jeez, I should have written this down, but Hopper, Chief Hopper, they're played by people we are familiar with, but it's fun to see how every season you see kind of bigger familiar faces drawn into the series to be supporting characters for a little while, like Matthew Modine as Brennan, Sean Astin and Paul Reiser in season 2. And actually, it was kind of funny because when you first see Reiser as Dr. Owens, I'm having bad flashbacks to Aliens where I'm like, oh no, he's playing Burke, which means they'll be good when he dies. But on the flip side, it was kind of fun to see how he wasn't that way. But there's more later. And also Carrie Elwes as the mayor, a slimy little bastard. Oh my god. It's interesting too how as his career has progressed. I mean, a lot of us, he's familiar to us because of Princess Bride. As you wish, the Dread Pirate Roberts, but he plays a lot of snarky villains. I mean, the evil, the scientist, the evil scientist dude in Twister, and there's an episode of Leverage from I think season 4, I believe. He plays this megalomaniac person who runs an airline, evil little blah blah blah, but kind of this smarmy little. Can't wait till Nate and the team takes care of you. Dang it. Sorry, I'm crossing streams, but you get the idea. What else we got? Oh, one of the really cool things, the fact that every character looks like a normal person. That's one of, I mean, in big films, and actually this crosses over into TV, although not as much as in TV, but especially in film, everyone looks like they're carved based upon, Da Vinci's work, and everyone's, women are size 3 models, guys all look like either Jason Statham or they look like The Rock, No one looks like a normal person, and then you run into Stranger Things where it's like, wow, it's like, this is for real, this is kind of cool. I do have one request that's kind of building. Will and Mike need better haircuts, okay? Dear Lord, it's like, what did you guys do? Someone, please spare them. Oh, those haircuts look horrible. Although, this kind of leads into the next thing I've been thinking about with the show. Especially after the way season 3 ended, Hopper suddenly become, the hero. And the fun thing about him is that throughout the whole show, he's been kind of that way. It's fun to see him as a very imperfect character. I mean, he's an alcoholic. He's still trying to put all the pieces together after his child died, divorced from his wife, basically crap hitting the fan all over the place. and him still fighting and working so hard to be a good person, a good human being, be a father for Elle. Um, Trying to keep the kids out of trouble. The organic relationship between him and Joyce. It's beautiful to watch, and the fact that in the film and even in TV shows, he would be played by this burly, this, The Rock would be playing him or Tom Hanks or something. No, it's played by a guy who's got a dad body. you know, a dad body that manages to still fight off a Russian special forces agent from hell. That's pretty dang cool, okay? um, and that leads us to the most important thing that I really kind of want to touch on in this whole thing. It's funny, I haven't really talked about all the other stuff, which there is a lot of. The idea, the effects are beautifully done, honestly. They are gorgeous, film quality. Um, you see the giant monster in the Starcourt Mall in season 3 in the giant battle, and holy crap, man, that thing's evil looking. And it just kind of goes on and on from there. It's beautiful to watch. All these influences from H.P. Lovecraft, where you're talking about alternate dimensions. Who would have thought that the term "the Upside Down" would scare the living crap out of you? All these things, and yet, for me at least, the most powerful thing the film, and this is very the and actually this is the most powerful influence from Spielberg, and also especially for Stephen King, is how you're drawn into these characters. You feel so much connection with them. Like I said, even in little things, like Alexei, like Bob. They're not. I mean, Dr. Owens. You don't see him a whole lot, but you are drawn into them. You're drawn to fall for them and love them and miss them. And when bad things happen, you like, tissue. Why'd you do that? You're never gonna look at a strawberry icy the same way again, right? No, but yeah, it's amazing how a film that excuse me, actually the way it's handled is kind of like a film. What easily could have just been this special effects extravaganza and a horror story and so on and so forth is a very personal story, which is what makes, and which is I think why so many people just kind of gravitate to it. And it's not just the fact that it's a bunch of geeks, and there's that sense of connection, especially for guys like me, where I'm like, yeah, I remember that feeling in high school. I know. But that kind of leads to the most powerful thing for me in the show is heroism. Um, these aren't anybody special. I mean, let's be honest. Hopper is the only one. And we finally in season 2, when Elle finds the stash of information, in Hopper's, his grandfather's cabin, I believe. You see the box labeled Vietnam, and you're like, so that's how he knows all this stuff. Everyone else, well, it's an interesting combination in that the characters, their forms of strength come in unexpected places. In Dustin, like Lucas, Will, it's and actually in Max, is how fucking, and actually, the characters in general pretty dang smart. Um, they see patterns. Joyce, all of them, they see patterns. They see things. They don't, obviously, you don't, the point of the show is to not just go, nah, it's just your imagination, whatever. But the fact that they're able to take all these pieces together and connect them. I mean, the way Joyce came up with the idea of doing the letters, to try and communicate with Will, with the Christmas lights, that was pretty dang cool. Okay. I know, but their sense of courage, all of them. Like Elle says, just become I think, the catchphrase for the show. Friends don't lie. There is that strength. There is that strength, a sense of strength and of courage. Even in someone like Billy, who has been kind of a schmuck the whole a lot of the show, in the very, very end, his sacrifice gives them time to stop the giant monstery thing from whatever other dimension you want to call it. That's pretty dang badass. And I think it's a reminder how heroism in general comes from very unexpected places. That it comes from wells and sources that are really kind of unexpected. I mean, Billy. So it's something to hold on to and something to hope for. So yeah, just some general stuff about Stranger Things. And remember now, after what happened to Hop, remember the end credit scene with the Russians, okay? They talk about the dudes in the cell. So remember that when season 4 starts, okay? Which has been mentioned 20 billion times all over the place on the internet. I wasn't kidding about Spoiler Shield, all right? But you guys know that if you've been watching this already, so hey. Unfortunately, I've been trying to check on Comic-Cons every place. My Google foo has been horrible because I keep on trying to see if there's anything about a Stranger Things panel at San Diego Comic-Con next week. Unfortunately, I haven't seen anything pop up. So hopefully there is something, but I can neither confirm nor deny anything. I have heard some people mention that because the show dropped so soon before Comic-Con, maybe they don't have anything planned or whatever, so who knows. So we gotta wait until we find out what happened, because Hop and Joyce need to go on their date and everything. So yeah, gosh, it's a long way. Although the good news is that episodes go fast. I mean, the season goes fast. So hey, y'all take care. May the force be with you. May the odds be in your favor. And as always, actually, yeah, this is the umpteenth thing that Stranger Things teaches you. Be good to each other, okay, folks? Peace. Lots of peace. Bye.